Napa Valley, Tuscany, Provence, which of course is in France. Who else belongs in that category? Marengo, Iowa.
Interesting.
Yeah, all these places have one thing in common: wine grapes.
First Alert meteorologist Hannah Messier visited Marengo to find out how Iowa's climate and environment make growing wine grapes possible.
Grapes growing on vines here in Marengo are ripe and ready for picking. At Fireside Winery, they have special types that grow on site.
We really excel at making white wines that kind of have a little more acidity and are slightly sweet, and sparkling wines are really good in Iowa. Those grapes are perfect for them. The reds that we grow are generally tend to have more acidity than what people are generally look for in a red wine, but we're working on making that better.
In Iowa, growing season for vineyards begins when the weather starts to warm in the spring.
The growing season basically starts when they break bud in late April, early May, and then we harvest anywhere from middle August to early October, depending on where you're at.
Randall Voss is a commercial fruit crop specialist for ISU Extension. He spends late summer and early fall traveling around the area, inspecting grapes at local vineyards.
You know, we want the sugars at the right level for that variety. Some varieties ripen at 25% sugar, some at 14, so we don't want to have like a preconceived notion of what the ideal sugar is because every variety is different.
Zach Bott with Fireside Winery says there's one thing that makes growing grapes difficult in Iowa. It isn't our winters, but the wet summers.
Bacteria, mold grows in warm, wet environments. Drier environments, it just doesn't thrive as well. So when it's hot and humid out here and we've gotten a lot of rain, you're just going to see more disease show up.
While the rain we saw this summer was needed, it did cause disease on some of the vines.
We needed that kind of recharge of water, but we probably have a little more foliar disease pressure than we'd want. Our fruit's really clean, but just some foliar diseases.
Despite the wet summer, Voss says the moisture and rich soils in the region allow growers to produce many different types of wines.
Whatever your kind of palate or preference is, you can probably find something you like. If you like the sweeter wines or maybe Concord type grapes, we have several varieties that have that style. We have some that are more reminiscent of the European varieties.
Growing grapes for delectable local wines. In Marengo, meteorologist Hannah Messier, KCRG TV9 News.